And I've seen you in 2 Xperia films. This one, the music video, but then also a much more serious one about mental health.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, using the Xperia in 2 different films, and one which had quite like a lively, oh, she's leaving the house, she's seeing Singapore with that atmosphere, and then switching to this kind of dark cyberbullying, mental health topic. And it was really nice having both of you there for it, because I think it was a very introspective film. It was a very serious topic that we were dealing with, something that definitely needs to be brought to light. And I'm happy that it was. But definitely having Sony Xperia as the filming equipment was very helpful, because there were shots in your dorm where it was dark, and I was in this mood where I had to be very, very sheltered. I mean, it was about layers, right?
Yeah.
And just having this, just one small camera made me feel like, okay, it's me, and I can actually fully do the method acting of it all and actually be in the process. And even when we did move outdoors, I never had to feel more conscious because of the camera, and I could actually get into the role itself. I mean, it was definitely helped by the music. You can see it in layers. It kind of represents it, and it works well together. But I mean, it was really nice having just a very good camera phone, especially the Sony.
Yeah, because what struck me when we were editing it is that it really did seem like what you want in a film like that. Well, in any film, actually, what you want from actors is where you actually feel like it's the actor just living their life, and the camera just happens to be there.
Like a fly on the wall type scene. Yeah.
And that was the cool thing about it. And that's one of the great things you can do when filming. Like even this interview, for example, there's nobody behind the camera. Like we set this all up ourselves. So there's not like a bunch of crew that would be behind the scenes getting in the way, distracting us. So we can actually just have a conversation and forget. And that's what I love about filming on a smartphone is you can be super involved as the director, and then you can also forget that they're there.
Yeah.
You just get on with it.
Right. I think going the smartphone route is much a safer bet, and it allows you to not waste very, very important time, especially people who live in Singapore. This is a very fast-paced country. Time is money, time is everything. So like if you want to pick up filmmaking, going for the smartphone route is like economic. It's an economic sense. Like it's
definitely.
That's a fantastic point, because it's like none of the shoots were more than half a day. And from my previous, so I have a interesting situation. Like Deepesh has really got into smartphone filmmaking full on. I have training in the other style too. And back when I used to do films, even digital, like full day shoots that go from 9 a.m. until midnight are a common occurrence.
Yeah.
And none of ours went more than half a day. And we still managed to do all this work. Well, I have other jobs. Richard has a full-time, very busy job. They're both studying. It's like the cool thing about smartphone filmmaking, especially when you have a phone like the Sony, where it's a professional quality set of tools in a smartphone, is that it can just fit into your day-to-day life.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say that the quality or even like the editing that you guys did, it wasn't just like a casual iMovie project. It looked like a professional thing, but it could be filmed on something like you said. it doesn't stress you out that, oh my God, there's so many lenses, there's so many different settings, but it also has that ability if you guys want to use it.
It's about like learning. I think, for example, recently I had to like use an audio recorder like a few days ago, and it's one of those professional audio recorders, and I actually needed like the whole day to get a hang of it. But with the Sony smartphone, I think the first time I filmed with it, 5-10 minutes. There's like an inbuilt tutorial also, which I didn't even use, by the way. I just played around with it. 5-10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Let's get to business. Like they have somehow come to like the fine line between like professional settings, professional tools, and also made it such that the normal consumer can just play around with it and get into that world instead of spending a lot of time and like going through the manual, which is what usually you end up doing with huge film cameras, huge audio recorders.
Very true.
Yeah.
And Richard has done like scores for feature films too. And one thing I've known, you've always been very honest with us, but you've always been happy with the quality of the picture, even compared to previous stuff you've done.
And I think as somebody who does write music for films, you know, that what you see can be very inspiring or not, as the case may be. But I mean, this is the great thing. You can see, I think, the pace of it. Definitely, you know, even though there's a very small crew, You can see the fact that it's not hurried, that people have got the shots they want. And then when I see it and write the music for it, there's something to react off. And that is as powerful, whether it be digital or celluloid. To me, it doesn't matter. Is it conveying the message? Is it, is it nice to look at and creates a reaction? And the answer is yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and we always see that with the music that you end up creating.
A lot of smartphones, they do come with multiple lenses. But what Sony has done with this phone in particular, is they've chosen 3 lenses which are actually like the standard Filmmakers kit. So they have a very super wide lens, which allows you to film, for example, the whole scene. And then you have a mid-range lens, which allows you to get a waist-up shot, and a telephoto lens, which you can get close-ups, a lot of depth. So when you have those 3 lenses already in your phone, you don't need an external lens. You have your lens kit inside a phone. And another thing is, especially with DSLRs, and DSLRs are expensive, so you don't end up buying many of them. So we used to use a DSLR which is pretty old, and what would happen is, as we kept changing the lenses, you would have situations where dust would enter inside, and this dust was so minute that you'd see it when you enter the editing suite. It's already too late, and we have to do something drastic to remove it. The chance of this happening with a smartphone is 0, because we are not switching lenses. It's already inbuilt. I'm just switching them with the tap of a button. So I think this is something that every filmmaker should think about.
It's actually an advantage. It's an advantage over using a DSLR, because it's like the number of times that piece of dust has caused us headaches. Like it's actually.
If you want to, you can go through our filmography and find it. I think there are some videos.
Find the dust.
Yeah, that's true, because Sony has actually made this smartphone specifically for professional filmmakers and videographers. It's the only smartphone in the market with that. So the 3 lenses are designed, as Deepa said, specifically for videographers and filmmakers. And then it also has a wind filter, so you can record sound directly from the phone without an external mic. And a lot of the videos previously to this one, where I'm speaking, we didn't use an external mic. So the filter works really well. It has really good stabilization. And then, of course, it has what's called the Cinema Pro app that you were able to pick up in 10 minutes, but provides all the actual manual controls that a professional filmmaker would need. The other cool thing about it is that working in this way, like in a small team, it has been incredibly collaborative. Like we're constantly sharing information. Like we can give Richard something, within a day he can get it back to us. We can try different tracks. We can get feedback from him about more than one track that might work, and then we can choose. And it's because we're able to work really fast and then send him a rough cut. That kind of thing never used to happen. Like a rough cut would take a long time. Backing it up would take forever. We can do editing on the fly and send it to someone else. Like some of the turnaround, actually for a different film that we worked on that we've now submitted to multiple festivals, a horror film. What was it? Yeah, like you wrote the score
in an hour.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was out. I got a call from Dinesh to say, "Can you help us with the soundtrack?" I'm like, "Yeah. When? Now." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So basically, within an hour, I was back home again. Within an hour after that, it was written. Within 5 minutes after that, it was with you. So.
And it was really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you did this subconsciously or consciously, but the soundtrack was such that we could actually edit a bit, change the videos, and it still worked. Yeah. And another cool thing, you talk about the turnaround and like the spontaneity is, I also made a music video, a female music video called Hollow. And in that one, the way I worked was completely different. I would actually film and I'd start editing, and when I'm editing and I'd be like, something's missing, I could just film at that moment.
You could just go do it right away.
I could just, because I wasn't filming, it was done by myself. So I just go and film what I needed immediately.
For creativity and collaboration, it's a totally different way of working that's new.
It's a game changer.
Game changer is the right word.
Yeah. No, I mean, even being in front of the camera, like, I knew about all of these things. Like, when he would come and do close-up shots, I knew he was adjusting the focus or adjusting the lens. But you don't know that much. So hearing about it today was very interesting because it's nice to know what goes on behind the camera, and it makes you more interested in it or interested in film like I am. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing this. I'm definitely excited to get my own Sony Xperia phone now. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And cut.
That was really good.
It's a wrap.